What is going on, PWC fans? It is your boy, C-Ton, bringing you our Week 6 D-League Power Rankings. I got a little bit confused last week with the Power Rankings. I thought we were on a week bye for the holidays. Apparently we were not. So, Week 5 Power Rankings are on the screen now. OP and it's had forfeit games, so they're on the bottom. Outside of that, if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. Not much really changed from the previous week, so it's obviously not good to miss an upload, but if there was one to upload, this was probably the one. The list pretty much stayed the same from what I can remember of week 4's. But without further ado, we'll move on to week 10. Also, I haven't had a whole lot of time with the holidays and whatnot to get all the graphics and stuff together, so we're doing this. Just a list with the backdrop so you can see the standings and how everyone's faring in terms of differential and all that sort of jazz. So, again, without further ado, we'll start at number 12 with Nate, coach of the Dallas Staravias. I believe you got 6-0 this week, buddy. I'm pretty sure that you wore the Volcarona sweep. Let me pull up the replay real quick. This is the game that Volcarona just came in and won, so that was pretty self-explanatory. Really tough break, but again, hopefully you can have you bounce back. Next up, we have a new number 11, which is Tim, coach of the New Jersey Dwebbles, and I don't have a link to this game, so professionalism. We're going to go on Discord and pull that up. So how's everyone's day today? Mine's going pretty well. I'm really busy. I'm going to sneeze, but I'm going to try to hold it. I don't know if that's going to work. Quick skimming through this, killing it. This is, I think this was the 5-0 from what I skimmed through. Offensive tentacle just busted through your team, it's looking like. And you didn't prioritize getting webs off of your side of the field early enough. At team preview, this was a very uphill battle. Latios looks like it just blows through your team if it was Z Thunder, which I don't necessarily remember if it was. A little bit of an awkward game here. 4-0, sorry. Tentacle took itself out to 3-0 even. Staraptor and Tentacle both killed themselves. So, interesting game. Sorry, not really the best insight. The leftovers Slurpuff was a little bit weird. Usually we see that come in a more sweeping variant because of the likes of your team having such little, well, not little offensive pressure, but limited offensive pressure. So, we have you at number 11 for this week. And moving on, we'll go on to number 10 with Thunder, coach of the Minnesota Hyperfangs, who kept, I believe he played Ryan this week, the Warmadams. Let me pull up that game real quick just to make sure I have the right game that I'm thinking of. You kept the Warmadams to a 1-0, and the Warmadams team is very, very strong, and if it wasn't for that Trick Room Exploud little scenario, you very easily could have won that game. Voltrace was a very good bring. I would have liked to see a little bit more aggressive play with a hidden power ground, because Heatran was a not super obvious switch-in, but a pretty obvious switch-in. Or no, it was super obvious, what am I kidding? He went into slow King the first time, but Heatran's usually going to be the reliable switch-in for that. I don't think Wishcash really did much. The Z Outrage, I believe it was, Zygarde, was very, very strong, allowing you to break through the defensive check to it in Serena. Overall, you had really good prep. Just a little bit unlucky with the way that the end game turned out. So, good game to you there, and that's why we moved you up to number 10. Burped. At number 9, we have the Charlotte Bee Drills, coached by TPB Rebenizer. And this was another case of this team just having a steel type sit in front of it. I believe this week it was Bronzong that sat there. Yeah, Bronzong literally just walled the entirety of the team. Sceptile got to +2, fired off an attack, and I think it did like 40%. So I'd consider getting like a Magneton or a Magnezone or something along those lines. Some sort of ability to like reliably take on these steel types that are giving your teams such a problem. I mean, you didn't have the team for the other matchup where Mega Aggron just sat there and 6-0'd, but yeah, steel types are very clearly an issue for this team with the likes of Porygon 2 and Nihiligo and Jirachi, all three of which can't really touch it in any way. So yeah, that's why we have you at number 9. At number 8, we have the Chicago Toros, coached by UKIT. He is now 1-1 as the coach of this team, I believe. And yeah, he played really well against AVP, taking down the previous number 1 team, I believe it was. So really strong outing there. Yeah, ended up winning it 2-0. Really smart scouting. Really good use of Victini coming in and just like poking holes through teams the way Victini is meant to. And yeah, just overall, we feel like you played very, very well. And you played intelligently to keep going through that. You played very well with the squad that you were given, so keep up that, and you'll keep moving up in the rankings, unless you definitely moved up, right? Oh no, you moved down. Why did you move down? Alright, never mind, we're not going to ask questions. Moving on to number 7, we got the Flint Muddy Waters in the most hyper-offensive game between Smeargle and Lagoon. The team just didn't really seem to work. The defensive Steela literally did nothing. I think it took out like 20% of HP in general. So, I mean, the set just didn't really work out this week, unfortunately. The Volbeat was used pretty well. It allowed you to T-Wave the Hawlucha, gave you a late game option of winning with the Tailwind, but overall, it just wasn't going the best. The Freeze Dry Mammo prep was really cool to see, but unfortunately, the Seismitoad still ended up living it. Yeah, just I think this is a situation of poor matchup. I think Veil would have been a really strong bring this week, but alas, it was just a pretty quick. I think it was it's a 14-turn battle to close out, so that's pretty wild. And a 3-0 loss, it's not going to kill your playoff run, but as you can see with the standings, there are a lot of teams at 4-2. It looks like there are 5, so you got to draw the line somewhere. And he's actually 3-3, so that's even more reason why it would be number 7. So moving on, we have the Warmer Dams at number 6. I don't necessarily... Actually, let me pull up the other team real quick. Thunder... I'm doing this really well once again. Never mind, I guess I can see why you would do that. The Fake Out, Last Resort, being the only 2. I guess he doesn't have a steel type, so you can kind of get away with that. But the likes... never mind. Aerodactyl would have been the only thing to really come in and do anything about that, but I doubt you stay on that anyway. So really interesting tech there with that set. We feel like you got unlucky with the Slow King confusion, which obviously sucks, but the letting your Heatran go down so early allowed for the allowed to not have a scout. Sorry, it took me. And same with the Diancie, not having a scout for the Z Outrage on the Zygarde. And when you only have like 1 defensive check to it, that's something to make sure that you keep around and all that jazz. At the end of the day, your Trick Room Slow King once again coming for that X-Plod was really nice and allowed you to break through the team and pull out a win. It was a very narrow win against one of our lower ranked teams, so that's the reason we have you at number 6. Moving on to number 5, we have It's Whatever, coach of the Sacramento Nido Kings, and this is the same thing as what I was talking about with the other team. There were some really good plays. Again, you used your Wish Momentum really well. You used Gran really well in this matchup, but this was a case of Bronzong just sitting there and never ever dying. So I mean, good bring on the Bronzong, but wasn't too much to this game to judge, at least from what I remember watching of it. Yeah, Bronzong was probably on the field for like 30 of the 47 turns, and it ended the battle at 84%. So that's kind of telling of how that battle went. Actually, let me see if I can figure that out. Bronzong. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was probably on for about 30 turns, which is absolutely incredible. But yeah, really good job preserving that. You passed a wish into it to make sure it remained at a healthy point. Just again, a little bit of poor prep on your opponent's part. So that's why we have it at number 5. At number 4, we have AVP, coach of the Florida Flygons. Previous number 1, now not the Florida. The Geo is 12 Flygons. Geo is the Florida Flygons. Yeah, we feel like you played pretty well. The Guardian of Alola tech was really cool because it worked out. It would have worked well on the Ferrothorn, the Kofag, or the Zapdos. Also, even on the Nido King, which is a traditional pseudo check to Tapu Koko. The Roost Archeops was really cool. Yeah. I don't remember too much about the game because, again, I'm very bad at this. But, yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. Great analysis, I know. Moving on to number 3, we have the Berisha Pitchus, who is now 5-1, but number 3 on our power rankings because we feel a lot of his wins came to hacks. This week definitely was not that case. 3 of his previous wins were kept pretty hacksy, but this was just a clean 6-0. I feel like he might actually be deserving of number 2, but alas, we ended up deciding on number 3, and this was just a matter of Volcarona doing Volcarona things. It came in on turn... Oh wow, it didn't get in until late. Click, 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 click. It got in on turn 17, and the battle was over by like turn 28. Kind of relied on Paralysis and Fire Blast missing to get your setup, but you got the setup and it just won the way Volcarona does. So good work with that. Again, you're keeping rocks off your side well now and playing around your opponent's counters very well. And Volcarona is starting to do Volcarona things. So good job there. Next up, we have OP Jellicent, coach of the Annister City Agrons, who won 3-0 this week. And this was just another case of OP really controlling the pace of the game at pretty much all times. The only reason it was a 3-0 was because one of his mons died to recoil and the other died to life orb recoil. So keep up the strong prep there and keep working there. And lastly, we have Ralts, we have Smeargle, coach of the Hidden Valley Ralts, at number 1, because at 4-2, both of his losses were pretty hacksy, and in every game that hasn't really been hacks driven, he has pretty much dominated. So we feel he is doing very, very well, and that is deserving of the number 1 spot. So let me know in the comment section below how poorly I did on this, and I will definitely make sure that I read those. I'm very sorry once again for having a pretty lackadaisic review of this, but again, real life is just really starting to hit hard. Getting into the holiday season, work is very, very overwhelming. So yeah, we're just kind of rolling with the punches. No promises on next week. It's going to be done, but I'm not promising better content. But yeah, I'm very sorry once again, and I'll work on finding time for next week. So goodbye. Oh wait, no, yeah, it will be up next week, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Next week might be the week that's actually the break. So if there's a video on Sunday, check it out. If there isn't, it'll be up the following Sunday. So goodbye. I love you.